Okay, today we're going to look at some databases to help you out with your DBQ assignment for Mrs. Kennedy. And this is Mr. P, and I'm going to walk you through different databases that you can use to help complete or gather documents for your DBQ. So when you get to the Daniel Hand site, you're going to want to go to the Library Media Center on the left-hand side. And once you get to the Library Media Center page, you're going to want to click on Databases and Online Directories, also on the left-hand side. And what we're going to look at today are two databases that can help you get documents for your DBQ for current issues going on. And for that, we're going to look at
ABC-CLIO Social Studies Database. So once you get to the ABC-CLIO site, it's going to ask me for a username and password, and the username and password are both Han Madison. So I'm going to type those in, and I'm going to log in. And I have two options here. I can either search all the databases here or a select few, or I could go to the individual databases themselves. And for this particular project, the DBQ, I'm going to Issues. And I go to Issues because the Issues database deals with contemporary social issues all over the world, and it's going to be the most useful for my DBQ. So I'm going to click on Analyze, and the reason for that is the Analyze area of ABC-CLIO takes issues and asks key questions on that issue. And the issues are categorized by type, whether they have to do with gender and ethnicity, international world, law and criminal justice, society and culture, and so on. I'm going to look at law and criminal justice and look at the death penalty and crime rates. So when I click on that, it gives me a key question. Does the death penalty deter crime? So this is not a question of whether the death penalty should be used or not. It's asking, does the death penalty deter crime? And that is up for debate. And that is a question that does need analysis. And ABC-CLIO offers the documents that you can analyze. So we'll look at the opening here. And the opening or background briefly discusses both sides of the argument. And if we go to the left-hand side, there's the Need to Know section. And this is also a great place to look at information. You have a background essay. And the background essay is on capital punishment or the death penalty. You have ideas and movement, individuals, other articles, and glossary terms. But the real meat of this analyze section is the dilemma section. So when I click on dilemma and I go to the opening, it asks again, does the death penalty deter crime? Again, a little quick opening, and it tells you what you're about to read. There's three documents: Interpreting Data 1, Interpreting Data 2, and Interpreting Data 3. And it explains what they are briefly. And then when you click on the actual document on the left-hand side, it brings you to the actual document. In this case, the document is just data. The data has to do with states that have the death penalty and their crime rate per 1,000 people, and states that don't have the death penalty and their crime rate per 1,000 people. Second bit of data on Interpreting Data 2 is average number of years death row inmates spend on death row and what actually ends up happening to them on the bottom. And Interpreting Data 3 is actually an essay that brings all that data together. So here's a good place to start. I have my question. I have some documents that I may or may not use depending on their approval by the teacher. And I have the closing, which kind of sums everything up, kind of like the opening did. But the real important parts are the three actual documents. So I read these documents and decide I'm going to use Interpreting Data 3, but Interpreting Data 1 and 2 did not work for me, so I'm just going to use 3, which sums all of them up. So I have one document so far, which is fine. And if I wanted to use a citation from the ABC-CLIO article, I would just scroll to the bottom and use the citation given on the bottom under MLA citation. I would just copy that and paste that under the article within my packet. I have other options to look at. I can do a quick search of capital punishment or the death penalty, which might or might not find me certain documents. Or I can go back to Madison Public Schools and now go to Opposing Viewpoints. Once I go to Opposing Viewpoints, it's going to ask me for my passcode. It's 06443. And now I have Opposing Viewpoints, which is very similar to the Issues section of ABC-CLIO. So if I go back to Opposing Viewpoints, I'm going to browse the issues. And here's a list of issues. And if you want to start on opposing viewpoints instead of ABC-CLIO and browse these issues, that's fine too. But I decided to use it second, and I'm going to look for the death penalty, and it's not there, it's missing. So other word for death penalty would be capital punishment, and I'm going to click on capital punishment. There it is. Now when I get to the opposing viewpoints page, I have the viewpoints, which I don't want to use because they are biased. They're usually just going in one direction. What I really want to focus on are the news articles and magazine articles and academic journals. And there are statistics and primary sources I can use as well. But for now, I'm going to look at the news articles because those usually do include both sides of issues. Because a good news article usually does include both sides of the story, unless they're an editorial or opinion article. So I'm going to view all 5,257 by clicking on this link. And I don't want to look at 5,257 articles, so I'm going to try to limit that. And to do that, I could look on the left-hand side and see that I could limit my search by subjects, document types, publication titles, newspaper sections. Or you could search for more keywords within the results, almost making it more of an advanced search. So I'm going to use the keywords that ABC-CLIO used was deter crime or deter homicide. I'm just going to use crime since that's a more broad term. So now I type in deter crime, and now I have, instead of 5,000 and something articles, I only have 51, which is a lot better. I'm going to try to sort by relevance instead of date. Okay, and here are the results. So I sorted by relevance, so the ones that have to do most with your topic come up first. They are also dated, so you want to be aware of the dates on the articles just to know how old the information might be. And if I scroll down, I see I have articles from Globe and Mail, which is from Toronto, Washington Times, African News Service, Philadelphia Inquirer. So this is not just a United States issue, this is a world issue, which fits perfectly for global studies. So let's scroll down and see if there's an article that catches our eye. And I do see one that would seem to be unbiased, and it is Abolition of the Death Penalty, the debate rages on. And that's by the African News Service. So if I click on the article, and here's the article, and the article is basically does cover both sides of the story. And if you would like to find exactly where it discusses the determinant of crime, I could hit the keys Control and F, and the find box will come up in the top of the right hand side of the screen, and I'm going to type the keyword that I searched for before, deter, and deter shows up 3 times. And you could focus on that part of the article if the article is too long, which in this case it might be. The rubric states that it should be between 700 and 1,000 words, and this is well over 1,000 words. So you're going to want to use only a segment of the article as part of your DBQ. When I get the information I need, I use a citation. So for document 1, I would have the segment of this article with this citation on the bottom. And that's basically it.